तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। ओम श्री तपोवनपरं गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्म विद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. So here we saw the sixth canto. First three chapters are speaking about the prasang of Ajamila. And now a different prasang will start from this fourth chapter onwards. So now we have to go back a little bit in time. In the flow of thought in Bhagavatam, Sarga is the primary creation, which is by Bhagawan himself directly. And Visarga is the secondary creation that is done by Brahmaji. So in the third canto, we had seen about Prachetas and how this Raja Prachin Barhi, he was having these children called Prachetas. So Raja Prachin Barhi was very ritualistic, and because he covered this whole earth with kushagras and very, very devout in rituals. Naradji comes, gives him Upadesh, and Prachin Barhi Raja gets the clarity that only through meditation and penance one will realize the truth. Rituals will only produce a certain amount of limited results. So he retired and he had told his children, Prachetas, to take the creation forward. But Prachetas went and they did the stuti. They met Bhagawan Shiva and then they sang his stuti, and then Bhagawan Shiva told them how to worship Bhagawan Vishnu, and then they pleased Bhagawan Vishnu. So that is where that prasang had concluded. Now Parikshit Raja picks up that one, and in this fourth chapter here of this sixth canto, he asks Shukdevji about that how did they take the creation forward. So Raja Uvacha Deva Suranranam Sargo Naganam Mrigapakshinam Samasikastvaya Prokto Yastu Swayam Bhuventare. So these Devatas and Danavas and then the humans and the Nagas, the animals, the birds, in the first Swayambhu Manvantara, covering 71 revolutions of 4 yugas. One Manvantara is 71 Chaturyugis. So Swayambhu Manu was the Manu for that one. So he says you have described all that very clearly in the third chapter. Now he says, I want to know Tasyaiva Vyasamichhami Jnatum te Bhagavan yatha Anusargam yaya shaktya Sasarja Bhagavan paraha. So he says, I want to know the details of it, that how and with what power did Bhagavan evolve the subsequent creation, which comes in the fourth chapter, which is Prachin Barhi Raja. Third canto is about Swayambhu Manu. This fourth canto is about this Prachin Barhi Raja and the Prachetas. The last part, it will come in that fourth canto, last part. So he asks that question now. Okay, I want to know how did the secondary creation happen by this prachetas. So now Sutaji is telling the rishis in Naimisharanya that this is what Parikshit Raja had asked. And hence, what did Shukdevji reply to Parikshit Raja? So now comes Shukdevji's reply. यदा प्रचेतस पुत्राः दश प्राचीन बर्हिषः अंत समुद्रान् उन्मग्नाः समुद्राद उन्मग्ना ददृशुर्गाम द्रुमैर्व्रताम. So he says that when these 10 sons of Pracheta, when the 10 Pracheta, the sons of Prachin Barhi, they emerged from the lake. Remember, they were in the lake and they were remembering, contemplating on Bhagawan Vishnu, and then Bhagawan is pleased and he comes there and he blesses them. So all that when it has happened, when they finished their tapasya and they returned, what they found? They found that this whole earth is covered with trees because the king Prachin Barhi has left. Prachetas went to do tapasya. So there is nobody who is taking care and governing properly. And so basic point there is that this earth has been left unattended as a like the king is not there or there is nobody to rule. And so one finds that there is a lot of uncontrolled growth, even anarchy is there, people also are not following dharma. So all that has prevailed, anarchy etc. has prevailed. Now Prachin Barhi Raja has gone, he went to meditate. The Prachetas also had gone to meditate, but now they are returning. So when they see this state of affairs, they are also very angry. Already they have done tapasya and for many, many years they have withdrawn. And now when they came back, they find, oh, this is the situation. So they get very angry. And specifically they are angry with the trees because uncontrolled growth has happened. So it will create difficulty and challenges for many other in many other ways. Like even today we see so many places sometimes the uncontrolled growth it happens, then to cut it out and clear that place is not very easy and it's quite challenging. And so he says here that what did the Prachetas do? Out of their anger, they spit out fire from their mouth and generated winds to burn away these forests. Now, when these trees are being burnt, Soma or the presiding deity of the moon feels sympathy. Why are these trees getting burnt? Trees are the very lungs of this earth. And how will people survive? And so the Soma Devata, so he spoke, the moon god he spoke. Moon also is the presiding deity of the vegetable kingdom. And so he is much more concerned. So he spoke and he says that why are you having such hostility towards these trees? They are just growing. And you are supposed to be the ruler of all the beings, meaning you are not only to take care of human beings, but all the other creatures and the nature and trees, the environment, the lakes, rivers, everything. So he says that, you have to protect. They are also like your praja only. And you have to ensure that the praja gets prosperity, they live a life well, and you are acting as their protectors. So why are you destroying? So first point he says that. Second, he says, who has created them? Bhagawan only has created them. And so he says here that the immortal and the all-pervading Lord Sri Hari the ruler of all Prajapatis, have brought into existence the trees and the plants as the source for food, source of food for the beings also, for the devatas also, for the pitras also. And so, why are you destroying these trees? Now, here in this 8th shloka, it is said that the food cycle is explained here, where he says, Aho Prajapatir, Aho Prajapati Patihi Bhagawan Hariravyayah Vanaspatin Oshadhischa Sasarjorja Misham Vibhuhu. So Bhagavan created all these Vanaspati, etc., for the beings, for the devatas, for the pitros, for everybody he has created. And what is that food cycle now? Annam charanam achara yapadapadacharinam ahasta hastayuktanam vivadam cha chatushpadaha. In one shloka he gives this. And what he says here is the non-moving beings are food for the moving beings. Beings without legs are food for those with legs. Animals without hands are food for animals with hands. And four-legged animals, specifically cow and the bull, etc., and plants are food for the human beings. Very clear it is. Non-vegetarian is not for human beings. Over Swamiji, four-legged, that is the cow and the bull. So through the cow, one will get the dairy product, and through the bull the agriculture will be also done, and so the cereals and plants and the dairy, etc., that is the food, not the non-vegetarian food. So he says Bhagavan created this system, and you will destroy this whole thing if you burn away all these trees. The whole system which has been created, that will get destroyed. And how, third point he says, how is it worthy of you? Because you were sent to do, you went actually to do tapasya, but your main job was to promote this creation. Now, and you got blessing from Bhagavan to promote the creation. So now if you are destroying the trees, your main purpose will be, defeated. And so he says that please follow the path of the virtuous as your ancestors, father, grandfather, great grandfathers have done, and you curb your anger, and you should ensure that how you protect the praja. So he gives some analogies, very beautiful analogies, that how does the king protect the praja. So he says, like the parents protect the children, the king has to protect the praja. The parents protect the children with great love, affection, and also protect them from doing harm. So guide them, discipline them. In that way, the king must protect. Then the eyelids protect the eyes. Drisha Pakshma. So eyes. So how this eyes are protected? So any dust particle, etc., doesn't go inside, and time to time the eye will blink. That is also protection for the eye. The eyelids will blink. That is a protection for the eye. So he says that eyelids protect the eyes, parents protect the children, husband protects the wife. Now again, suddenly don't say that why should only husband protect a wife? It's not that a wife is weak and all that. The point here is as simple as this. With the human society, even today, is not as evolved to understand the gender equality, and somewhere the bhoga vritti is there in the human being, and women get exploited. There is no question about that. And it's not that husband protecting the woman means the woman is weak. It is not like that. That woman can protect herself also, but it is the duty of the husband also to take care of the wife. So out of a sense of responsibility, one does it. Then Householders will ensure that those who are living on bhiksha, all the other three ashrams, they live on bhiksha only. Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, they depend on the householder. So, householder has to nurture and nourish the people of the other three ashrams. So, he says here, Bhikshunam Grihe. So, Grihi. So, Grihi, a person who is a householder, will take care of the bhikshu. So some places they translate this bhikshu as a beggar. That is a wrong translation. It is all those who seek alms, mendicants, students, vanaprasthis, all. The grahasthashram, that's why is the basis of all the other three. And so he says this. And one more he gives is like the wise person is the friend of the ignorant. In this way, the king must protect. Five analogies he gives, like the parents protect the children, eyelids protect the eye, husband protects the wife, the grahasthi nurtures and nourishes the other three ashramites, and the learned person through the knowledge and sharing the knowledge protects or is a friend of the ignorant. In this way, the king is supposed to protect. This you can apply to any leader also. It can apply to any position of leadership, whether it's in a family, in a company, in work, in nation, anywhere. The leader must protect the employees or nurture and nourish the employees like this. Now, they had darshan of Bhagawan. So he says, Bhagawan's darshan you already had, but you should also see the whole universe as the appearance of the Lord only. And hence, he says in the 13th, Antardeheshu bhutanam Atmaste Haririshwarah Sarvam Tadvishnum Ikshadvam Evam Vastoshito Yasau. Bhagavan is in the hearts of all. He is Antaryami, Antardeheshu Bhutanam. Atma is the self of all the beings. Sarvam Tad Vishnum. Vishnam. So you should see that he has entered everyone, everything. He is the inner controller of all. And so he is there in the trees, in the plants, in the birds, in the environment. Everywhere it is Bhagavan only. And whatever is the creation, animate, inanimate, inert, sentient, all that is his abode. And if you propitiate the whole creation, if you serve the whole creation, you are actually propitiating Bhagavan only. And so don't cut all these trees. One who subdues the lower nature, so violent, anger, is able to transcend the three gunas. So put aside your anger, he says. And whatever trees have been burnt, okay, now they have been burnt, that we can't do anything, but don't burn any more trees. Just stop here immediately. And having said that, this Somadev, he gives this divine girl called Marisha, who has been raised by the trees as a daughter, who's been raised by the trees as their daughter, as the wife for all these prachetas, 10 of them. So that's what he says here. Varkshi Yesha Vara Kanya Patnitve Pratigrihyatam. So let this excellent daughter, Marisha by name, brought up by the trees as their own daughter, be accepted as a wife by you. Now one may say biologically, how is this possible? How can a tree raise up a woman? We have to remember we are talking about devatas, adhisthana devatas. We are not saying tree as a physical tree. Like moon is not going to speak. but this is Chandra Dev who is speaking. Same way, there is one Devata. The one Devatas, they has brought up this daughter, and that daughter is given to the Prachetas. Now, having given the daughter, so the name of this, so how is this daughter born? So it is said Pramlocha, an Apsara. To that Pramlocha, this daughter was born and raised by the trees. So she is not like a human creation. She is born to Apsara. So that's a different yoni. But the higher yoni, those who are, they can interact with the lower yoni in the sense that human being. So Prachetas are sons of Prachin Bahiraja. This daughter is, this Marisha is the daughter of Pramlocha, who is an Apsara. So Itya Mantrevararoham Kanyam Apsarasim Nripa. So she is an Apsara's Kanya. Somo Rajaya Yaudatva Te Dharme Paye Mire. So with this, the marriage is done of this Pramlocha and the Prachetas. Now, polyandry is anyway, it is prohibited in the scriptures, but specifically for taking the creation when this had to be done, and she is an Apsara Kanya, she is not a human, uh, it's not a human species. Polyandry will apply there, and this is a specific situation, and the Apsara is now wedded to them as an exception. So one should not give this example saying, oh, this one girl was married to 10 of them. But she's an Apsara Kanya. It's not a human creation. So here that's what it says. Um, Now through this Marisha, these Prachetas gave birth to whom Daksha was born. Uh, One may say, but Daksha was already there in the earlier chapter we saw. That whole Daksha prasanga we saw, and how that time Daksha was born to Brahmaji as a Manasa Putra. He became the Prajapati, and we saw the whole thing. He became arrogant also, and he became the Prajapati of all Prajapatis, and so he did one great yajna, and he didn't invite Shivji. Sati was not happy with that, and then Sati, when she went finally there, in spite of Shivji telling her no, she realized that, oh, this Daksha really has done this to insult my husband, and now she can't go back, so she immolates herself. Then Bhagawan sends Veerbhadra and all of them, and then Daksha is beheaded. Then everybody prays to Bhagawan Shiva, and then the head of a goat is placed on Daksha. Now Daksha, in time, drops that body, and that Daksha is reborn here now. So through this Marisha and this Prachetas, Daksha was born, and Daksha will take this creation forward. Hmm. Now Shukdevji says, now that Daksha is born to Prachetas, now you see how he took this creation forward. And so he says that Daksha was extremely fond of his daughters, how he created the beings with his mind as well as by the seed. He will explain that now. Give me a minute, somebody's at the door. Mm. So now it is said, first Daksha does the Manasik Srishti. Manasaiva srijat purvam prajapatirima prajaha devasura manusyadin nabhasthala jalaukasaha. So through his mind, what did Daksha do? He created the beings who are, so the birds who will fly in the air, and then on the land, the various creatures, and then in the water, and then he created the gods and the asuras and the demons and this human beings, all this. In the first instance, he created. But then he saw, what did he see? That this is not multiplying. Then Daksha went to this Vindhya mountain, and there he practiced uh, austerities. He went to practice austerities there, and there's a lake there called Aghamarshana. Agha means sin, Marshana means to destroy. So that which will wash away the sins. That Aghamarshana, there is a lake. There he used to take bath 3 times a day and pray to Bhagawan, who Hari, prays to Bhagawan Hari, and that Lord who is beyond the senses, who can't be grasped by the senses. He sang the hymn called Hamsa-Guhya. Now, that Hamsa-Guhya stuti which he sang, now Shukdevji repeats that Hamsa-Guhya stuti. um, this portion now is what Daksha sings. So Prajapati Ruvacha Namapparaya Vitathanubhutaye Gunatrayabhasa Nimitta Bandhave Adrishtadhamne Gunatattva Buddhibhihi Nivrittamanaya Dadhe Swayambhuve. So this is a very long, nice stuti which he sings. Um, some Mahatmas, they say that this is a stuti which is not composed by Daksha, but it is also there in the Veda. And so he is possibly repeating that. Maybe the essence is there in the Veda, or maybe it is there as it is. I am not fully clear on that. But this is the stuti. So what does he say? First one, he says that, O Lord, you are the transcendental one, not graspable by the senses. Paraya, avitatha anubhutaye. You are the one who is the real knowledge, knowing which everything gets known, and not knowing which one feels incomplete, empty. Then paraya avitatha anubhute. Gunatraya bhasa nimitta bandhave. Now, you are the controller of all the living beings through the Maya, through the three gunas. You are the one who controls. The nimitta is the Maya, and through that nimitta, you control all the living beings. Adrishtadhamne, you are invisible, and especially those who have a heart which is not very pure. Then one is, though Bhagavan is everywhere, one is not able to see. Uh, Gunatattva buddhibhihi means those who are attached to the three gunas and who may have sometimes intellectual vanity also. Meaning the purity of heart is not there, sense indulgence, extrovertedness, all that when it is there, then one can't see Bhagavan. Uh, Gunatattva buddhibhir nivrittamanaya dadhe swayambhuve. And you are Swayambhu. There is no cause for you. You are the ultimate cause, uncaused cause. Everything else proceeds from Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the ultimate uncaused cause, and one who is Nivrittamanaya. free from any, ego or anything which is mana, also means a measurement. Ma miyate means to measure. So mana is actually to measure. That's the actual meaning of the word mana. So Bhagwan is nivritta manave, nivritta manaya, is free from all measurements, meaning anything that can be measured is limited, is finite. Bhagwan is free from all that. So like this, now he sings the stuti. I'm not going to go into each shloka that way. We will take the essence of this and see one or two inspiring shlokas which are there. So then he says that Bhagwan is the supreme controller. He is the friend of all the jivas. Now, as the sense objects cannot understand how the senses perceive, because sense objects are jada vastu, sense organs. Now the eye is seeing this computer. The computer can't know that eye is seeing. Why? Because computer is jada, eye is sentient enough to see. So just like the sense objects cannot see the sense organs, in the same way, the enlivening force behind the mind, intellect, senses, all these is the Lord, and so they can't grasp him because by themselves these are all inert. Body, mind, intellect, senses is all inert. And so he says that this jiva, though residing in the body with his sakha, who is Bhagawan, the jiva is not able to perceive that Bhagawan is my real friend. So that is the analogy he gives. Like the sense objects cannot perceive the sense organs, in the same way, this jiva is not able to perceive Bhagawan in his own heart and understand that Bhagawan is the real Sakha who comes with us life after life. And so the jiva can't even understand that how it is actually Bhagawan who is making the senses function, the mind capable of feeling, intellect capable of thinking. So he says, you are that friend actually. There's a very nice thing that he has said here, that Bhagavan is the eternal friend of ours. But we neglect that Bhagavan. Sakha, you see, Sakhavasan Samvasata Puresmin. Sakhavasan is a Sakha, Puresmin, in this very heart. Jiva and Ishvara are together. Ishvara is the friend of Jiva. Oh, Swamiji, Jiva is separate from Ishvara then. This is an analogy, Baba. That Jiva is nothing but consciousness only identified with this limited has got the Jiva Bhav. Bereft of that identification, that consciousness only is the supreme truth. So here it is an analogy to make us just understand this aspect that Bhagavan is there in our heart all the time. And so he says here that the Lord whose beneficent nature and friendly attitude the Jiva dwelling in the body, his constant companion, does not know even the Lord lives with the Jiva as the latter's friend in the same body. So the Jiva doesn't realize this. Because that's the power of Bhagavan's Maya also. And Jiva also is so attached to the three gunas. So that was said earlier, no? So that is the following up of the previous verse. Those who are attached to Maya, the three gunas, they don't realize. So having said that, he says that who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is omniscient. Matter cannot perceive because all these, the body, the prana, the senses, the elements, the sense objects, they are inert. They cannot know anything by themselves. And Jiva has sentiency. When we say Jiva, it means consciousness identified with these inert things gets the Jiva Bhav, that I am limited, I am finite, I am born, I am changing, I will die. So this Jiva has sentiency, which is borrowed, which is nothing but infinite consciousness only, but the Jiva is sentient, the ego, Mr. So and so is sentient. And so the Jiva can know these things, what the body, mind, intellect, prana, sense objects, the Jiva knows all these. and the three gunas which are the base of all these, the jiva knows. And the jiva can also know that Paramatma. That same mind, same jiva who thinks of itself as I am Mr. So and so, identified with the BMI, has that capability. Bhagavan gave that in this human body to discriminate and distinguish what is Atma, what is Anatma, and then to know the Atma. And when one comes to know the Atma, one realizes, oh, that is a Paramatma already, that is infinite by itself. Only because identified with one body, we call it as Atma. But otherwise, it is the same as Paramatma. There is no difference. Like the water in the wave is the water everywhere in the ocean. There is no difference. So in that way, he says that Jiva has a choice to choose to realize Bhagavan or to continue the way of the ignorant and be attached to the senses. And yet, the Jiva who has this choice, he says, doesn't make the choice only. The Jiva does not know the omniscient Lord. Also, because by itself Bhagavan is Ananta. So as an object, Bhagavan cannot be known. Only as the subject or as the self it can be known. Bhagavan can be known. So the Jiva doesn't make the choice either out of the attachment to the sense objects, or the Jiva doesn't make the choice because of the not doesn't make the choice. The Jiva doesn't know the truth or the self because the Jiva tries to objectify. Like we learn many subjects, but they are different from us. So physics, chemistry, biology, art, science, commerce, all that we will learn, but the sense of finitude remains. Here, it can't be known that way. Bhagavan can't be known like any other object. He is the very source of the subject in us. So until the mind has not become purified and subtle to turn within and to inquire into who am I, this will not be known. In bhakti language, one says that mind should be purified with sadhana to have darshan of Bhagavan. So the jiva, though has a choice, is not realizing this because of either attachment to the senses or objectification. So one is trying to grasp Bhagavan also like anything else, but that is not possible. So now he describes the form of Bhagavan. Bhagavan can be known through the form or as a formless truth. Both are difficult to know. So even if somebody says that, okay, compared to the formless, the form is easier, no doubt. But the form also is not like ordinary form. It can't be seen through the regular senses. Bhagavan is of the nature of great light, illumination, and his form is very subtle. So until we make our mind pure and subtle, this will not happen. The darshan of Bhagavan's form cannot happen. So here he describes now the form of Bhagavan as well as the formless aspect of Bhagavan. This is 26 and 27. So there he says here that first he speaks about the formless absolute truth. So he says, glory to that pure supreme substance which is Brahman, revealed only in a pure mind that is realized through its absolute existence. When the mind ceases to function, attains the state of samadhi, because all the senses and the mind, everything has been withdrawn. So that formless truth is experienced when? In samadhi avastha, when the mind which has been purified withdraws and just gets absorbed in that truth. Savikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, leading to sahaj samadhi. So he says that is one path, that you are known by people as the formless through the process of samadhi. Then he says, the wise find him out by their purified intellect, as installed in their heart, though veiled by his 9 potencies. So what are these 9 potencies? So they are Prakriti, the individual jiva, mahat tattva, ahankara, and the five tanmatras. In the Gita also he says that भूमिरापो नलो वायु खम्मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यम्मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा. Here one more has got added, that is the Purusha aspect. In this Purusha, it does not mean the infinite consciousness, it means the ego, the Jivatma. So, veiled by these nine, you are not known, and also because of the three gunas, not known, or the 16 other principles. So, the mind, the five senses of perception, five organs of action, and the five gross elements. All these attachment to any of these, either the three gunas or the nine potencies or the 16 principles identified with these, a person doesn't realize the infinite consciousness. That's what he says here. And example one is given here, just like the fire which is unmanifest in the wood. Interesting point is mentioned here is that the fire which is hidden as though in the wood is manifested by chanting the Vedic mantras. So he says here that even as those well versed in rituals produce the sacrificial fire hidden in the pieces of wood by reciting the 15 sacred texts known as Samidheni mantras. When these mantras are chanted, the fire will manifest. One doesn't even have to do any friction, etc. But of course, that they are to be chanted properly with Shraddha, Bhava, and all that. And in many places in the earlier Vedic tradition, the fire is produced like that by invoking Agni Devata through these mantras, and then the Agni Devata will manifest through the wood. Today we may find it, something miraculous or something not believable, how it is possible. We have to create some friction or use some, chemical. So you have matchstick, etc., or you have electrical, lighters nowadays, or through gas, some chemical. But through the mantra, invoking the Agni Devata, and then the Agni Devata who is latently present in the firewood will manifest. And so he says, in that way, the self is in all of us, and then the sadhana has to be done to manifest. So that detachment has to happen with all the, what he said, this 16 principles, 9 potencies, 3 gunas, all that. When a person transcends these limitations, then one will be able to experience the joy of liberation through this process of negation. So this formless path is the path of negation, saying not this, not this, not this. Everything that is gross, subtle, causal is all rejected. What remains is ultimate truth. That can't be described. Now that very supreme impersonal or formless truth also manifests in the form, because even that form is difficult for people to see, but compared to that samadhi and complete state of withdrawal, form is still uh, easier to do the sadhana for form, because mind has something to hold on to. And so here he says that actually the example given here is of this wood, etc., is for the formless truth. Then it comes for the form also, where he says that he is realized in the form of joy. That is done. When Maya, the source of all distinction, has been negated, yes. Yet it is he who bears all the names and assumes all the forms possessed, as he is of the potencies too numerous to be described and which constitute his very essence. So may that Lord shower his grace. Though he is formless, he is only appearing as all the forms. Now, whatever is described in the words, determined with the intellect or perceived with the senses or even pondered with the mind cannot be his essential nature. This is all jnana aspect. For all that is a manifestation of the three gunas. But Bhagavan is, as a matter of fact, indicated by the evolution and dissolution of the universe. Oh, to use the universe and the three gunas is only to indicate that Bhagavan is changeless. Like how we say in the Upanishads, Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvishanti iti tad brahma vijignyasasva. Know that to be Brahman, from where all the beings rise, in which they stay, into which they go back. So the Srishti is used as a means. Tatastha Lakshana it is called. Swarupa Lakshana is Sachidananda Brahma. Tatastha Lakshana is using something else to indicate, like you say, the house on which the crow is sitting. So there are 5 houses. Then we say, oh, the house on which the crow is sitting. Acha, that is the house. So using the crow, we have indicated the house. Same way, using the three gunas, the srishti, the names and forms, what is indicated is the formless nature of Bhagavan. So that's what he says here, that though he is formless, he is indicated by all the forms. And now comes a very beautiful verse, which is verse number 30. Yasmin yato ye nacha, sorry, that is different tune. Yasmin yato ye nacha yasya yasmai yadyo yatha kurute karyate cha paravaresham paramam prak prasiddham tad brahma tadheturananya dekam. So he says here that who is this Supreme Brahman? That Supreme Brahman is the hetu, is the cause of everything in this whole Srishti. So many words are used now. Yasmin, Yataha, Yena, Yasya, Yasmai, Yad, Yo, Yatha. 8 words are used. Yatha is actually like all this, so not Yatha, 7. So Yasmin, meaning in whom everything rests. So each of this is a Tatastha Lakshana pointer. Like when we say, for indicating Atma, we say Panchakoshatitaha. It is beyond the 5 sheets. Or Avasthatraya Sakshi. It is the witness of the 3 states. So we are using the finite to indicate the infinite. Same way here, Yasmin, in whom everything rests. Then Yataha, from whom everything manifests. Yasmin Yataha. Yena, by whom this whole Srishti is created. Yasya, to whom does this Srishti belong? Belongs to Bhagavan. Yasmai, all actions are done for whom? For dedicating it to Bhagavan to purify our mind. Yasmai, all actions are dedicated to him. Yat, and who is desired by everybody. Ultimately, we are seeking Bhagavan only through all the work, success, achievement, money, enjoyment, all that. And Yaha, who is the real doer, who is the Karta. We think we are doing, but actually Yaha, he is the Karta, real Karta is he. And so he is Prasiddham, very well known, existing before all the activities, who is one without a second, you know, Anyad Ekam, all that is said Ekam, one without a second, and no cause, means uncaused cause. This you can apply to actually form and formless both. As consciousness is that into which everything goes back, from which everything comes, who is the real enlivener, who is the one for whom all actions are dedicated, All this, na yasmin, yataha, yena, yasya, yasmai, yat, and yaha. All the seven can apply to consciousness. You can apply this even to Bhagavan with the form. Ishtadevata Upasana also one can apply this saying ki Bhagavan is the one from whom everything comes, into whom everything goes back, who is sustaining everything, who is empowering everything, all this. Very, very sweet verse this is. Yasmin yato yena cha yasya yasmai yadyo yatha kurute karyate cha. If even this half a line we remember of this shloka, this is shloka number 30 of this fourth chapter of sixth canto. So much of detachment one will get because the whole world also belongs to Bhagavan. Yasya. Then Yasmai, all actions are done for Bhagavan. Then Yena, who is doing is Bhagavan only actually. Yataha, from where everything comes. Yasmin, into which everything goes. Yat, who is desired by all. The goal of life is Bhagavan. And Yaha, who is the ultimate doer. So, beautifully explains this, applying for formless in this context, but as I said, you can apply this for form also. Now, it is, though this is the truth, Bhagavan's Maya is such that it makes the people forget all this, what was said, na yasmin yataha, all this, and one takes up that individuality and thinks I am the karta, I am the bhokta, all that. And so he says here that the Lord's Maya causes various philosophers to forget their own true self. So that is called Atma Moham. And by causing their agreement and disagreement, Samvada and Vivada. And because of that, they don't reach a conclusion. See, Vivada Samvada Bhuvo Bhavanti. And so people are stuck in this argumentation. That happens or not. So many philosophical discussions, debate, etc. To find out the truth is one aspect. For that, whatever discussion, debate one has to do. But a lot of it then is not about the truth. It is about my opinion and I am superior and my mata is greater than your mata and all that. That is also a part of Bhagavan's Maya only. But idea here is to understand, oh, I should not get trapped in this. Discussion to know the truth is great. Arguments to convince oneself so that I come to realize the truth is no problem. But when there is truth is not the main interest. Interest is on promoting my ego, my argument, and my opinion. Then one is lost. So he says this that glory to that Bhagavan who has endless virtues, and they become the very his Maya Shakti is the very cause of this Vada and Samvada, and keeps the person deluded. One of the Eshanas is also that Putreshana, Vitteshana, Lokeshana. Child, uh, so Vitteshana is wealth, Putreshana is child, and Lokeshana is popularity. So popularity one gets how one of the means is this. Oh, he's a great Pandit. Oh, one can talk so much. Oh, he defeated so many people in his arguments. One more way of Maya to keep. Shastra Vasana it will be sometimes. So he says that is how people forget. Now he again goes ahead and he says that all these are the prayers that he is doing. Daksha is praying to Bhagavan. um, in yoga and in Sankhya, though they both are speaking about one supreme reality, see here, in yoga and Sankhya, which though professing faith in the one reality, ascribe two distinct and mutually contradictory attributes to it. The one claiming that when one conceives the infinite as a Virat Purusha, then Bhagavan has hands and feet, etc., where we saw the whole Virat Roop. So, in that the earth is the middle part, the feet are the Patal Loka, and above is the higher worlds and all that. So, one of them will say that yes, Virat Roop, this is the Virat Roop of Bhagavan, and others will deny that no, Bhagavan doesn't have any roop. So, there will be a clash between the followers of Sankhya, and yoga here means Bhakti Yoga, not the traditional Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga here means the Bhakti Yoga. So the Bhaktas will say this whole universe is Virat Rupa Bhagavan, or they will say specifically Bhagavan has a particular form. Sankhya Yogi will say no, Bhagavan is formless. Now this argument goes on between both of them. And so he says here that Bhagavan is actually beyond both form and formless, but the dispute is because of this, the people. And that is another way that Maya keeps a person bounded, keeps a person bound in this world. Now he gives an analogy that to get them out of this, Bhagavan shows some mercy towards them. So to show mercy towards those who worship his lotus feet, the unlimited Lord, who has no material names and forms, exhibits transcendental names and forms which is different appearances and pastimes. May that Lord be pleased with us. Meaning the combination of this both has to happen. That yes, that Lord is formless, no doubt, that is the truth. Why should one fight saying ki form or formless? It is form and formless both. And by the Kripa of Bhagavan, one will realize this. So that's why he says that to show mercy towards those who worship his lotus feet, Bhagavan ensures that though the Lord has no particular form, he comes in a specific form. So may that Lord be pleased. Then the analogy he gives is as the air carries different aromas and colors, the Lord appears through the lower forms of worship, in the sense through the specific forms where one can worship the Lord having a certain features and qualities and all that. As per one's desire, as the bhakta wants to see Bhagavan, Bhagavan manifests also. And Bhagavan only appears as the devatas, demigods. And so there are people in the world who will do rituals, etc., to please the demigods, and through them one will get certain whatever progeny or rain or prosperity, any of these. But actually, it is Bhagavan only who is blessing them all. So in this way, he goes on to pray. And what happens? Bhagavan manifests. And when Bhagavan manifests, he doesn't come alone. He comes with all his devotees, Naradji and Nanda and all of them. So the form of Bhagavan also is described, that which form of Bhagavan he comes in and gives darshan to Daksha Prajapati. That we will take up in our next satsang. For today we will stop here.
मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति भूमि की, मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की, मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की, मंगल आरती मंगल बनिक त्रिभंगी हरि की, मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की, मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की, मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी, मंगल आरती। पभी अंग अंग की, मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की, मंगल अति कटि पियरे पट की, मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की, मंगल माधुरी मृदुल पैन की, मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी, मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की, मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की, मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की, मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की, मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की, मंगल आरती। मंगल आरती। राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम्, नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयम् अग्निः, तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं, तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
Which is the shloka you are referring to? Nivrittam Manaya. Nivritta Mana is free from Mana. That is the simple meaning, is what I understand. One specific shloka, where is it? This is 23rd shloka, right? Yeah, so that is the first one where he explains about Namaparaya Vitathanubhutaye Gunatrayabhasa Nimitta Bandhave Adrishtadhamne Gunatattva Buddhibhihi Nivrittamanaya Dadhe Swayambhuve. So here, that is the spoken about Bhagawan here. So who is this Bhagawan? Who is supreme controller of the jiva and the prakriti and real, who is beyond all the means of cognition? So he says about this. Adrishtadhamne Guna Tattva Buddhibhihi. So those who are bound to this gunas, the three gunas, they are not able to realize. And mana. So when we say Nivritta Mana, simple meaning of Nivritta Manaya is who is freed from ego, who does not have ego. But in this context, Bhagavan's adjective it is, which in simple words means free from. Bhagavan doesn't have any sense of limitation. I explained in the talk saying that mana word comes from the verbal root ma. Ma means to measure. So Bhagavan is that supreme truth, who cannot be measured, who is nivrittamana, means who is free from, who is not measurable, who is not anything which is finite. And that's the meaning of nivrittamanaya. Nivrittamanaya, sorry, nivrittamanaya. So the one who is free from any form of finitude, who cannot be measured, who is immeasurable. When we say ameya, no? Ameya also means the same. Nivrittam manaya, nivrittam manaya, manaya, correct. Nivrittam manaya and ameya, they both mean the same. Yeah. Sarga and Visarga. So Sarga is primary creation. Bhagavan is uh, doing that directly. So from the navel of Bhagavan, one lotus comes up and then Brahmaji comes on that. That is called Sarga. Visarga is the secondary creation that Brahmaji further creates. With the grace of Bhagavan, of course, but Brahmaji's creation is called Visarga, or the secondary creation. So all the five elements and everything, Mahat Tattva and all that is the secondary creation. The primary creation is Bhagavan, from his Nabhi Brahmaji comes out. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.